We are in the middle of the morning blessings, page 6.
Birkot Hanoten Layaef Koach. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who gives strength to the weary.
Interesting, this blessing was not instituted by the rabbis of the Great Assembly. This blessing came later, after post-Talmudic times, in the times of the Goin. Just like we have, remember, starting with the last blessing before we go to bed, when we're lying in bed, Hamapil, all the way till the end of the blessing on page 7. Together, it says you have 18 blessings. But with this blessing, we have 19 blessings. Because the 18 blessings correspond to the Shemona Esrei, the 18 blessings of this silent prayer. But the Shemona Esrei, if you count today, how many blessings are there? Actually 19. Because later on they added the blessing. As a result of all the suffering and the internal suffering, they added the blessing that Hashem, that Hashem should take care of all the turncoats and all the self-hating Jews and all those that from within tried to destroy us from within. So we added a special blessing. So too the rabbis, post-Talmudic rabbis, the Goinim, the Goinim, added this blessing that Hashem should give us strength. Hashem should give strength to the tired, to the exhausted. Because you have to understand, historically, this was post-Talmudic times. The Jews were already in exile after the destruction of the Second Temple, a few hundred years. The rabbis, in their worst imagination, couldn't imagine why the exile is lasting so long at that point in time. The whole exile in Egypt lasted 210 years. After the first destruction, the Babylonian exile lasted 70 years. This exile, by the time they made the blessing, the exile is already 400, 500, 600 years or more. They couldn't take it anymore. The Jewish people were tired, they were exhausted. How could we take it? And the rabbis knew. The ones who instituted this, the Goinim, they were holy people. They knew that the exile will continue for another 1,000 years, God forbid. Who has the strength to deal with such a long, extended exile? And the worst is yet to come. They were still facing the Crusades and still facing the Spanish Inquisition, and ahead of them was the pogroms and Chmielnicki and the ghettos and the pogroms and Hitler and the BDS movement. Who can hold out all this? So they made a blessing that Hashem should give the Jewish people who are tired of waiting and tired of hoping and yearning and anticipating, and the redemption is not materializing. The promised redemption, this hope and this promise that Hashem gave us, all the prophets are filled with this promise. So you need a special blessing. A blessing is a strength, is an energy. Hashem is blessing us. He's giving us energy and strength. So they added this blessing. Hashem should give us the strength to overcome all this. So that's on a very basic level. It's also an attitude. We go to sleep at night. You're exhausted. You're wiped out. Miracle of miracles, wonder of wonders. We give Hashem our neshama, our soul. He returns it to us, freshly cleaned, freshly ironed, pressed, fresh, brand new. It's a new day. We wake up, the sun is shining. Every day we get to experience as if a new creation, a brand new day. So everything depends on your attitude. You can have two people who are wrestling. Who's going to win the wrestling match? Not necessarily the one who's younger, who's stronger. No. The one who's optimistic, the one who has the energy, the one who has the hope, the one who has the confidence. If a person's attitude is, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm demoralized, you can be Samson himself, you're going to lose. But you can be handicapped, you can be older, but if your life is full of zest and full of hope, full of confidence, and full of, we're going to do this, and we're going forward, and it's going to be successful, and it's a brand new day, and it's an exciting new day. So this attitude is critical. So we thank Hashem for giving the tired and the exhausted. And He wakes us up refreshed, and He gives us the koach. The koach is the fact that our attitude is that we feel it's a brand new day, it's full of hope, full of potential, And if we treat and approach each and every day this way, we set the tone. This is the beginning of the day, the beginning of the morning, how we wake up. So we have to mention and make a special blessing and ask Hashem to give us the strength. And our attitude should be, we shouldn't feel that we're exhausted. We shouldn't feel that it's, the last private audience the Rebbe had with the mega donors of Chabad all over the world. So the Rebbe said to them, he was 89 years old. The Rebbe says to them, told them in English, he says, don't look at me like I'm an old man. I'm a young man with young ideas. He said, I have plans for the next 10 years, next 20 years. It's an attitude. Your youth is not measured by your years, it's an attitude. You have people who have difficulties and yet they're full of vigor and full of hope. And you have people who have no difficulties, but they're exhausted. They go nowhere and they're demoralized. So it's an inner attitude. So we thank Hashem for giving us that inner strength. Because if you bless Hashem and you're connected with Hashem and you trust and have faith in Hashem, then you have the koach. Then you have the strength because you're tapping into the source of life. You're tapping into reality. Then nothing phases me. I can face anything. Even if I'm tired and even if I'm exhausted. But if I'm connecting with Hashem, I'm blessing Hashem, I'm drawing down that hope and that faith from Hashem, I can overcome everything. And that's how the Jewish people indeed were able to overcome everything. Who on earth would be able to overcome? Anyone who would challenge a tenth of what we were challenged with faded away. And yet, we overcame everything. Despite what was thrown at us from left field, we always came out stronger and we went forward and we moved forward and we rebuilt only because Hashem gives us that strength. Hashem gives us that confidence. Hashem gives us that trust. After the depression, people were jumping out of windows. Jews, we went through a lot worse than depression. Depression, you lost your money. But we went through Holocaust and we didn't jump out of windows. Because Hashem gives us strength. When you're connected to Hashem, when your self-confidence doesn't come from your bank account, it doesn't come from your label, your title, anything external. If your self-confidence comes from ego, that could be crushed. And once that's crushed, you're jumping out of a window because you have nothing left. The Jewish strength and confidence doesn't come from bank accounts, it doesn't come from anything external. It comes because we have a piece of the divine essence inside of us, because we have that connection and relationship with Hashem, and therefore we have all the strength. Nothing could crush us, nothing could demoralize us, nothing could exhaust us, no matter what we go through. A new day, a new beginning, we're full of hope, we're full of confidence, we go forward, fully energized, enthusiastically. So this is the blessing of Hanoten Layaef Koach. It's only Hashem who gives us that koach. Only Hashem who gives us that strength to go forward. And when you have that strength, there's nothing in the world that can stop you. You will overcome everything. There's two types of exhaustion. There is an exhaustion if you don't eat. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to feel faint. Because if you don't eat, the food turns into blood. So even though your soul is functioning, but if your soul needs a vessel. If there's no blood, the blood is this vessel for the soul. Adam hu nefesh. If you're not eating anything, you have no blood, you have no vessel for your neshama. So I need to eat in order not to feel faint. So same spiritually. A person needs to eat. You need Torah, you need mitzvot. To be able to be a vessel for your godly soul, you need to nourish your neshama. You have to constantly nourish your neshama. You have to constantly eat. And even though you ate yesterday, you have to eat again today. Yesterday I ate a full meal and I was robust and vibrant and vigorous, but today, if I don't eat today, I'm going to be weak again. I need to constantly nurture and nourish this connection. But then you have a situation where it's like, for example, the wellspring water, the lake dries up. So there could be the lake dried up because the ditch that's carrying the water got clogged up. Okay, so I unclog it and then the water flows again. But then there's the lake dried up because I can no longer access the wellspring water. It's no longer flowing. So what do I have to do in order to fill the lake again? I have to dig very deep and reopen the wellspring water. So we're asking Hashem to give us a new wellspring of strength. We thank Hashem for giving us a new wellspring of strength. When we do a mitzvah, the mitzvah is a wellspring of strength for us. It opens up a new reservoir of fresh water, because the mitzvah is divine. The mitzvah is infinite. When you do a mitzvah, you're touching the divine. So when we're doing a mitzvah, we're tapping into a whole new stream of life, a whole new stream of blessing, a whole new stream of energy. So we thank Hashem for giving. The soul on its own could be likened to, if I'm exhausted, because on my own, I don't have, the wellspring is dried up. I don't have that divine energy and strength that I need. I can't do it on my own. But what gives me? Hashem gives me that strength. By doing Hashem's mitzvahs, by putting on the talis and wearing the tefillin and doing all the mitzvot, Hashem is giving us that wellspring. We're digging deeper and we're tapping into the infinite, and we're tapping into Hashem's wellspring of life and energy and blessing and that flow of divine flow. So we're thanking Hashem for giving us that strength. It can only come from Hashem. It can't come from within us. Even if you love Hashem, your soul loves Hashem naturally. And your soul is in awe of Hashem naturally. And your soul has faith in Hashem, but it's not enough. Why not? For all other religions, it's enough. The whole religion is based on love God. Meditate on God. Be in awe of God. And Judaism says, no, you have to do the mitzvah. Why isn't it enough just to love Hashem? My soul, let me close my eyes and meditate and dance with the angels. Let me love God. Let me pray. Why do I have to do the mitzvah? So that's what this blessing is saying, because on our own, the soul is like tired. It doesn't have that energy. It can't have that energy on its own. You have to open up a new reservoir. You have to dig deep and open a new reservoir. And what's that new reservoir? It's the mitzvah that Hashem is giving us. Only Hashem can give us that strength. When we do the divine mitzvah, when we physically do the divine mitzvah, we're tapping and touching the divine, touching the essence of Hashem, tapping into that infinite. That opens up a whole new wellspring of life, of strength. And that's the only answer. That's why mitzvot are critical. You can ask something?
We're like, Judaism's a religion of like works, right? So like we do like mitzvahs, we do whatever, but like when, let's say someone is really religious or someone's really into it, we don't really think about it when we do a mitzvah. It just comes naturally. So is doing a mitzvah like a way of life?
Right, doing a mitzvah is a way of life, but doing a mitzvah is not just a ritual or custom. When we do a mitzvah, we are literally touching the divine. And we open up a whole new fountain of youth, a whole new wellspring of energy, of blessing. The neshama suddenly accesses and taps into a whole, and the neshama comes alive. That gives the neshama strength. The mitzvah give us that strength. So we bless Hashem for giving the tired, the exhausted, which on a deeper level refers to the neshama on its own, for giving us that koach, that strength that only comes when you physically do the mitzvah, because only then are you doing the will of Hashem, and only then are you touching the divine, and you're tapping in to that wellspring of energy and life.